To remain updated with the latest business news, click on the bell icon.
Well, NFTs generated a total of 5.4 billion US dollars in profits through the sale of tokens in 2021. And the question now is whether they're even going to surpass Bitcoin, crypto in terms of the kind of attractiveness among investors. Let's talk a little bit more about that with our panelists today, who by far know exactly what this is all about. So I want to first understand, for those who may not fully be familiar with the concept, what an NFT exactly is, how it's stored on the cloud, the concept of digital scarcity, and what makes them so valuable. Why don't we start off with you?
Sure. So we've talked a lot about cryptocurrencies today. NFTs are also tokens on the same technology, the same blockchains. The difference being here, you're talking about assets which are non-fungible. NFT is non-fungible token. What it means is each unit is discrete. Each unit is independently identifiable. So the first one and the second one, they don't look the same, they don't feel the same. So it's in a way, the way crypto would be an equivalent of money, an NFT could be the equivalent of your house, right, which is an asset. So, many times what happens is, as a consequence, people end up comparing the two. I think they are two different components of the same blockchain ecosystem, but have very different users as a consequence. Now, you have a house which is residential, whereas you have money which is to make payments. And those differences we'll talk more about as the session progresses. But would love to, I'm sure everybody's got this question many, many times in many sessions.
No, and I'd love to get all of your take on it. There's a question around, again, whether it's a speculative asset. We know from Big B to Salman Khan, Sonu Sood, they've seen phenomenal response to their NFT collections. But is it still something that's limited to a select few, to the inner circle? What about an artist who just, a regular artist or creative person who also wants to use these tokens? What is the kind of opportunity for them?
Obviously, it's not restricted to a celebrity because most of the NFTs out there has been launched by people who have been a nobody before, right? And they've shot to fame thanks to NFT. Like even with people or when he just started, he said a guy from Thailand just took a selfie and then he made $1 million, right? So it is pretty much open to anyone because it's decentralized. Anyone can go ahead and launch NFTs. And if your content is interesting enough and what you create is interesting enough and it makes value, NFTs really do well for them. And it's been the same in India and across the globe as well. Yeah.
So why are there still questions around its speculative nature? Why are there still questions about whether or not it's a risk or these are real returns?
So I think it's definitely a condition where you need to figure out what is the underlying asset is. So if the underlying asset is something that is very safe and secure, then I think it is less risky. If underlying asset is just an image or just a graphical or an illustration that a person has drawn in the morning and in the evening he's trying to sell it, so it becomes a risky asset. So it depends on the asset to asset, which is actually being mapped to the NFTs. Overall, I believe that people who are calling the NFTs as a speculations and a fad, maybe because they don't understand the value and what is the core value that brings in. So I can give you one core example how it is important and why it is valuable to have an NFT. For example, let's say somebody is selling an ebook, right? You can sell an ebook on a website very easily using WordPress and you start selling it. But once you sell an ebook and you get your money back in your bank account, let's say a person who has received the ebook says that I don't like it, I want my money back. He just called the bank and say that, I did not make the transaction, I want my money back. Of course, the bank will favor the buyers. They will get the money back, give the money back to the buyer, and you will say that, okay, I want my ebook back. But what will you do with the ebook? Ebook has already been copied 1,000 times, and the digital asset copy is exactly same as the original one. Now, even if you get your ebook back, there is no value. So you cannot reverse that value, but the buyer can reverse the transaction easily. Now, think about this same thing in the NFTs. If you're selling an ebook as an NFT, and if you have sold an ebook as an NFT, you got your money in the crypto form in your wallet, and if somebody says, I don't like the ebook, I just want my money back, no, there is no possible way to reverse the transaction. So whenever you're selling a digital asset, either in sports or in any celebrities or any digital asset you want to sell, or open source code or license or a virtual or even a recording of this session, if you want to sell, then there is no way to reverse the transaction because the copy of the digital asset is exactly same as the original one. Hence, there is no concept of reversing the digital transaction. So this makes a lot of value. So if you look closely, the lot of people sitting out there right now have a lot of assets in the digital form, either your YouTube video or Instagram profile or a Facebook share. All of us has these kind of digital assets. So if you want to sell those assets, the only way to do the safe transaction is the NFTs. Otherwise, there is no possible way. You will always be at risk. So I think that's why it is not a fad. There is no, some speculation around this.
I can clearly see the opportunity and really how this can evolve in the future, given also the fact that it's platform agnostic and you're not restricted to the kind of rules that may be applied via the likes of a YouTube and other giants, of course. But the rate at which we've seen the phenomenal growth, I mean, again, I have some stats on that. Trading in NFTs climbed to 17.6 billion. That's up from 82 million in 2020. So that kind of spike, whenever we see that, we are always a little hesitant as to what it means. How would you kind of describe what you're seeing currently?
Hi, everyone. So, what is happening, why there is this substantial growth that is happening. Each one of us right now, despite the fact that you are here in the conference, you are continuously looking at your mobile phone screens. What does that indicate? 70% of our lives, we are spending on screens. Now, when we are spending our lives on screen, the value, economic value is getting created on screen digitally. So what was happening earlier, before NFT arrived into the scene, all these digital objects that we own, say suppose you are a very good artist and you created an image, right, on your laptop and you instantly uploaded on Facebook. Now some of your friend downloaded it and they claimed that they have created it. Now how you will prove it? You won't be able to prove it till the time you go to your friends, convince them, I have made it. Now what NFT did, it made it easy for creators, for artists, for people to claim ownership, to prove that ownership, and that too instantly, openly, and anybody can check it, right? So that ownership, so you can prove that you are the owner of this piece of art. That actually revolutionized this entire space. Now, literally everything can be made into NFT. And that can be transacted on blockchain, and anybody can see the transaction, the from where it got originated, for how much it got sold, who is the current owner, what are the particular characteristics of this NFT. Now this phenomena, this trend has actually revolutionized the digital industry. Now music is getting revolutionized. In front of me, a music artist is sitting, now his industry has got transformed. Nikhil Chanappa will definitely agree to me. And the entire movies, now artists can interact with their fans directly. So that's the reason that this industry is getting revolutionized.
Got it. So, Ankit, I also want to ask, what the process is of trading in an NFT. What's the, ease or challenge? Can anyone do it? How does one go about it?
So I think the discussion we've had, we can even take it, elevate at one level. A lot of the conversation has started by talking about collectibles. Yeah. The core concept, I think you just mentioned right now, is ownership. The fact that there is an asset in the virtual world, in the digital world, that you can now own, opens up a series of possibilities. This is what the blockchain technologies have provided for us. Now, because you can own assets.
You still need a crypto wallet to begin with.
Yeah. So for that asset, the ownership is through an identifier. I mean, you can call it a crypto wallet or whatever, different ways of naming it. But essentially, it's your wallet in which the asset is placed. Now, how you buy that asset, how you sell that asset, the payment methods can vary, right? The easiest one, since you're on the blockchain, is also to use cryptocurrency as a payment mechanism. It works on the same platform in a way. But you could very well transact. I could buy an asset from you and pay you in cash. I could pay with a credit card. I could transfer with UPI. So I think those are two parallel threads. One belongs to the same technology sphere. There are several others which don't. And there are many, many players right now in the market who are actually solving for increasing the number of payment methods that are available across various countries. I mean, we have been accepting on radio credit card payments for all our NFTs, because the value that we are looking at here is the connect between cricket and a cricket fan. Now, how a cricket fan is able to pay depends on, I mean, different fans will have different ways. So I mean, I think you started by talking about the speculative nature. That is another category. Here, payment options are available depending on how things evolve. I mean, all the way from traditional payment methods, credit cards, debit cards, and of course, cryptocurrencies.
No, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think it's important for investors to know that there are different ways in which they can look to invest in the asset class.
So if I may just add it, I don't just look at it as an investor. I mean, again, going back to the very first thing we talked about, that there is money and then there's a house. Sure. You could buy a house to live in it, but you could also buy a house to invest in it, right? And as the industry progresses, you will see more houses and other similar sectors coming up where you'll be creating an asset for residential use, for commercial, for various different uses. So utility will triumph, but yes, some people will still invest in a house and say, you know what, this has utility, so why not buy this house in this new location? I won't live there, but it will become valuable. That's not the primary use case necessarily. I think when you create assets or goods or digital goods, their use cases are aligned with what they are made for. In our case, a lot of this is about, so radio is into cricket NFTs. We are creating NFTs related to cricket, the sport, in the form of videos, images, and several other things. So this is helping fans connect better with the sport and the cricketers they follow.
Okay, so let me get Kashif in on this. And I want to mention, I mean, everyone probably already knows this. Twitter's CEO sold his first ever tweet for $2.9 million. Now, what is the use case for something like that? Like, how do we say it's anything but a collectible?
Now, just imagine Twitter's CEO's first tweet, and you own it. Now, that's enough for me to brag, to maybe impress you, or to anybody in the audience, that I hold the first tweet done by Jack Dorsey, and I'm the owner of that. That's enough of bragging. Now, if I may ask you, why you wear Louis Vuitton? Why you wear, the best of brands, CK? The CK is, you can get a normal t-shirt, normal shoes, but we buy brands for quality, and there is that snuff value. So if I own Jack Dorsey's tweet, that gives me a bragging right. And the best part is that I don't have to prove it. Everybody knows about it. Now, there are a lot of apes picture, BAYC, board app yard. Everybody must be knowing about it. There are many people who claim that you can just right click and save that ape, But then you're not the owner of that. You're just right clicking and saving the image. Now, imagine tomorrow, if an animated movie comes on board app yard, that ape, and that turns out to be the world's best selling movie. And imagine if I'm holding one board app yard, one character in that movie. Imagine owning Mickey Mouse or Pluto back in 80s, 90s, 2000. So today you can own characters in a movie through NFT, and you can be a billionaire, trillionaire, maybe very next day.
So clearly we're at the cusp of a whole new world, along with the onset of Meta and whatnot. So I think we need to open our imagination to what's possible here. But Toshendra, let me bring you in as well, because after the tremendous spike, we've also seen a bit of a come down, a lot of controversy, cancelled auctions in some places. Do you feel the market's getting oversaturated? How can such a nascent market go oversaturated so quickly?
No, actually, market was actually overflooded with a lot of newcomers NFTs, and of course when the buyers have seen a lot of NFTs in the market, they decided to invest in a very limited set of NFTs. And of course, since the cryptocurrencies are now seeing a small correction, which is a part of the whole journey, I think NFTs wise as well, people are seeing a correction, which is a good thing for the industry or for the innovators, because now the real innovation will come up. Because this happened, I think, 2-3 years back in 2018 as well, when the Bitcoin went down, the real innovation came up. That's how the CoinDC, the sponsor of this event, and other companies have started picking up. Because now the focus is on the innovation. And even if right now people are focusing on buying the NFTs which have a certain use cases, purpose, or certain value, rather than just investing and buying in random NFTs in the market. So people are now becoming more aware, more selective and more decisive about buying a particular NFTs, especially around the corporate use cases which are now coming out. I'm sure you might have noticed that recently many corporations have started launching their own NFTs because they have realized that this is the best way to engage. Now, I think these kind of use cases, when they will be coming up, there will be a lot of decent, stable growth and the numbers. Because if something has grown 2,000% or 2 lakh%, definitely this is going to be corrected. This is how the whole network or whole market works. Same for the share market, same for the cryptocurrency. So I think right now the numbers are getting corrected, and this is actually for good for everyone.
Okay, so Ramakumar, let me bring you in on some of the challenges around this as well in terms of ownership rights, legal ramifications. What are some of the tricky areas around NFTs, and does that impact the investor as well?
It's pretty much same with any product that you sell, right? If I buy a Nike shoe, doesn't mean that I own an IP to do whatever with it, right? So I own it, I can wear it, and I can just consume it for some time. It's pretty much same for any kind of content that is out there, but there are some changes with like BAYC that he mentioned. Like you can own the IP along with an NFT, and whatever proceeds you get along with that NFT is up to you. So I think it'll be a mix of both. Certain NFTs will be bragging rights. Certain NFTs will have utilities where you own the IP and you can use it for a purpose and you can get some rewards through that. So there are still challenges because no one thought about IPs for NFTs like 2-3 years back because no one heard about it, right? So it'll go through that, as it happened with the internet, as it happened with crypto, same will be with NFTs. It'll mature from there, and soon we'll know how to track IPs through NFTs and stuff. So yeah, it's getting there, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, so give us an insight into your universe here, and each of you tell us a little bit about if I were to go on to the blockchain right now and look for something that I wanted to find. I mean, what would be exciting? Does one go and explore? Do you find out what's trending? How does it work? I mean, I know it's not like Instagram, but for those of us who are still new to this, give us a bit of an insight.
So I think there are a lot of marketplaces. You can just go to marketplaces and look for the trending. They have mostly the trending section. I'm sure Radio has some, NFTically also has some, and OpenSea, which is one of the largest marketplaces in the world, has some most trending NFTs. Also, there are nonfungible.com, which actually produce the report on the most trending NFTs in the world. So first you identify the collection name which you want to buy. Then go to the places where they are being sold. The best way is to reach out to their website and then click on buy now. Once you click on the buy now, they will take you to the marketplace where you have to connect your wallet, which is just a private key, just an identifier of your own self, so that you know that you are buying into your own wallet. So once you go there, you click on the buy now, you obviously should have some cryptocurrency or tokens in your wallet. Depending on which token they are selling, just make a purchase, sign the transaction by clicking on a button, and that's it. And if your cryptocurrency will go to that seller's account and NFT will be transferred to your wallet. And obviously, you can go to any marketplace and see how many NFTs you own and start bragging about it. That's the easiest.
To just add that, in fact, one of my good friend is actually launching a product, just like an Instagram for NFTs, right? So you could use it and figure out what NFT to buy, and it takes you to Rario or beyond, or it takes you to NFTically to buy NFTs. Yeah. So
I like to add it to this. So it's one of the most difficult tasks to find the right NFT. I'll be very honest, and 90% of the NFTs will actually won't survive. It's similar to 90-95% of startups won't survive. NFTs will also not survive. Most of them are into the experimental stage, and before you decide to invest in NFTs, it's very difficult. And to begin with, maybe if I can advise you, so first of all, you need to figure out what's your budget. Number two, what's your liking, what you actually want to buy. So there are two kinds of NFTs that are available right now. One are licensed NFTs and another are unlicensed NFTs, right? Licensed NFTs, like in a sports NFTs, like what Rario is building. Like, so suppose you want to buy a cricketer's NFT. So, you like Yuvraj Singh, or maybe you like Prithvi Shaw, and you want to buy a particular NFT of Prithvi Shaw. You can instantly go to Rario. You don't have to think about that. Is it licensed or not? Is it authorized by Prithvi Shaw or not? Because Rario is only listing, or there are platforms like Rario who are actually listing licensed NFTs. So there you have a peace of mind that you're actually buying something very authentic and raw. So that's your first step. After taking your first step, then if you want to figure out, okay, fine, I want to find other NFTs as well, then you need to join the Discord channels of various NFTs. Try to join, try to get into the whitelisting where you actually contribute to the ecosystem and then you get NFTs for free, by the way. And if you really want to get into NFTs, you need to be on Twitter. You need to be in Discord channels. It takes a lot of pain and patience. It can take up to 6 months to figure out what you really want to do. Do not just go to the website and put in your money because you might end up losing your money. I really don't want you to do that. There are a lot of issues right now, but you need to put in patience. You need to put in a lot of effort. It's similar to the way when you go and buy mutual funds or any financial product or asset, you put in a lot of effort and try and discuss it with your family, consultants, financial consultants. In a similar way, you need to put in your time. At the end of the day, it's your money.
Yeah, that's what everyone says when it comes to blockchain and NFTs and crypto. Why does it have to be so complicated? All these code words.
I mean, it's early days of an industry. The entire stack, the entire ecosystem is evolving. And what you will see, also use cases are evolving. I mean, over the last few minutes, we've talked a lot about investing in NFTs. And I think it is very important for us to recognize that's just the initial use case. What we are looking at is a revolution because goods and ownership is now digital. Now, what you do with these NFTs is way beyond, owning an NFT which could become a profile picture, right? What if the character that you talked about actually represents the biomechanical properties of that character that you talked about in the ape? So when it becomes a part of an animation, you're actually getting royalty for it because this is how the character behaves, operates. So that's the new utility that is possible that many people are experimenting with. Radio has cricketers NFTs, and you will be able to use these NFTs to play various kinds of games of cricket. For the first time, you can actually build your own team by owning it, just the way the franchisees do it. Now, that's a very different thought process. Yes, there is one aspect of investment for some people, but the bigger aspects are, look, I'm a big fan of this cricketer, and I can get something which is limited edition coming from the cricketer. The even bigger aspect is I can actually own some of these and play games, participate in an ecosystem, utilize these in very interesting ways. Right? So to your point on complexity, I mean, a lot is just evolving and give it some time to the entrepreneurs. They will come back with solutions and do exactly what you've seen over the last probably 10, 20 years on the internet. It was not that easy if you go back to the 90s on how we would access websites. It's a very different world today. I think we are in the early days of evolution of this ecosystem.
I think it's been 2 years, since we start hearing NFTs in India. Of course, it has been 5 years, 5 years easily in the West. But I think since he talked about the utility, I think the tickets of this event could have been an NFT, and maybe 50 tickets could have been sold as an NFT, which have been traded in the open market in a peer-to-peer model, where the transactions must be happening between the India Today group and the buyer directly. No mediator, no intermediary. And of course, these tickets could have been a premium tickets on the front table, and these might have been auctioned. So remember, these are the utility, and the more the utilities people are actually going to try, the more people will start understanding this with a simple language. Of course, industry like this will require entrepreneur like us actually working on simplifying the words and making things very simple, easy to understand, so that people can start using it in a day-to-day life. Of course, it might take time, and obviously the bridge between the Web 3.0 and Web 2.0 is something that is currently being built. And once it is ready, trust me, every one of you will be using NFTs in a day-to-day life, and you might not be even knowing it. That will be happening very soon.
All right. With that, go on.
Can I just wanted to add, even the government can benefit a lot from NFTs. I think we missed that point. I want to add on to that. Now imagine, in India, museums are in a very bad shape at present. Who goes to museum? No one. So museum can be put on decentralized land, and all those articles of the museum can be made NFTs, and that can be put on decentralized land. Government can buy a land on decentralized land, can open their museum, put all those articles of India on that museum. We can make NFTs of all the monuments we have, and we can create those NFTs, and we can actually create an NFT of Taj Mahal, and just imagine what hype it will have. And Taj Mahal can be bought as an NFT without giving the ownership right of the Taj Mahal, obviously. Now people can visit Taj Mahal, Lal Killa in the metaverse. So imagine in the country today, we only get 300 crores from all these monuments, from tourism. Imagine if we put all these monuments on metaverse through NFTs, we can earn another 300 crores in there. You know, in India, 25% of the Supreme Court cases, are of land disputes. And 66% civil cases in the country today are of land disputes. Imagine if you can put all these land records through NFT, these disputes will come down and a lot of important time of the courts will be saved. I think government can actually NFTs can prove to be a very revolutionary step for the government as well, and municipal boards can even raise money through NFTs even.
Yeah, great to hear. Well said. Thank you so much. And clearly, this is now a reality. It's no longer just a myth, but something that's actually taking place. So thanks for sharing that insight into the future, gentlemen.
And I can take an autograph of Rahul Kanwal and put it as an NFT on OpenSea.
All right.
Are we getting that NFT?
I think we should.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.